Hi, I'm Dr. Meryl Alappattu from the Department of Physical Therapy.
And I'm Krishna Vaddiparti from the Department of Epidemiology. And this is...
Picture this. Question 1. What's one sentence you would use to describe your research?
Mental health, social determinants of health.
I study all things pelvis and pelvic floor.
How did you get interested in your research?
I went to a 7:30 seminar when I was a physical therapy student from a local physical therapist who was treating women with pelvic floor dysfunction. And I was just shocked to hear. I'd never heard about pelvic health physical therapy before, and so it really intrigued me, and I decided to do a full-time clinical experience working under her mentorship.
So your research is on women's health and mainly pelvic
Floor
floor
dysfunction.
And pain.
Yes,
Okay.
pelvic pain, urinary incontinence, across the lifespan. So post-pregnancy, postpartum, women in that stage, older women, athletes, and also men.
Yeah, well, I, got into the research that I do because I have a background first, in social work. And so that's how my interest in the social aspects of a human being, basically. And then within social work, I focused more on psychiatric social work. I specialized in that, and I have a PhD in psychiatric social work. And for several years, I was a clinician. And then I really wanted to see that the work that I do is making an impact. And that's how I got into research. And I'm very much drawn towards people living with HIV/AIDS and people using substances.
So it's really interesting because there's some of that work being studied in people with chronic pain as well. So I'm curious as to what the overlap might be. And it's your turn, Krishna.
Okay, let's see, what do we have here? So what's one research question you've always wanted to answer?
One that I've always wanted to answer is how effective are treatments, conservative treatments, rehabilitative treatments that provided by physical therapists for women with pelvic pain?
I mean, more recently, this is with my current research, I'm so much, especially, the whole medical marijuana scene in the United States and even globally, it's changing so much. And it's been very dynamic. And for instance, in Florida, it's legal to use it for PTSD in certain conditions. However, we don't have, or rather, evidence is very conflicting still.
In terms of efficacy?
Efficacy, so even I've finished a pilot study and, we use something called the ecological momentary assessment. We track, these individuals, assess them at multiple time points and every day, 4 times a day, we were doing EMA to track their mood and PTSD symptoms and, all those kinds of things. And we found, medical marijuana seems to be helpful, but, we do not know how long it would be helpful because we only track them up to 70 days. I think for clinicians, basically, their goal is to help people.
Yeah.
They do not want to turn people down. And yes, they know that people are benefiting. But I think if maybe if our system recognizes that, okay, it could be applied, we can give it to other conditions, then people end up, clinicians might end up you choosing those options.
Right.
But at this point, I think given it's limited, to only certain conditions, I think that is what is happening.
So is that a statute thing? The limitation to certain conditions?
Yes.
Okay. What do you hope a person impacted by your research will feel or be able to do because of your work? I think women with pelvic pain they report going from physician to provider to specialist to whoever. Oftentimes by the time they get to a physical therapist, they said I should try this, but because what else can I do at this point? It's sort of a last resort. So, I think my work, I hope people that have pelvic pain are not suffering for, years, decades with this pain and, debilitating pain that affects their quality of life, that affects their personal relationships, intimacy, etc. I hope that they get the help that they need early and are linked with providers who have the training and resources to help them.
I feel the same thing about this as well, my work as well, because again, PTSD, it's runs a chronic course when you actually don't take care of it. And the response to the regular psychotropics or psychotherapy is, it's kind of mixed again, in terms of compliance and, outcomes and all those kind of things. So, like a lot of patients drop out of treatments and therapies and, things like that. So, if these novel, treatments actually help, I think that's wonderful. But, yes, as of now, I think the number of people who are coming forward to use these medications, medical marijuana, is increasing. What is one thing you will take away from this conversation?
I think for me, it's learning about people with different health conditions that I may not be the most familiar with or have worked closely with. And, I think at the end of the day, people want to feel good. People want to live, happy, fulfilled lives. And how can we as healthcare providers do that?
I feel there are more similarities than differences. So, there is such an overlap and, we do a lot of things similar, but of course, maybe focusing on different conditions and different body parts.
Okay, it's time to show your paintings.
Oh, gosh. There's a brain, World AIDS Day, marijuana, and then sort of that, I forget what the term is, those toys that you turn and it, not psychedelic, but yeah, and it changes into the different shapes and the color. Kaleidoscope. Yeah. You said mind altering, so that made me think of a kaleidoscope and all the changes.
I've not finished what I'm thinking as I'm drawing, but basically, this is your main population, like, women. So I'm showing a woman here and, in a seated position, and basically I'm trying to see, in terms of this is the pain, that is radiating from her pelvis and everything. Well, what I planned, I can tell you, because I've not finished it. So the background is gray here. Okay, that is because, the dullness, that one is, it's monochromatic and gray and, dull because of its pain. But if I finish this would be green and with leaves and, colorful flowers and everything. That is your rehabilitation.
Great, I love it.
Okay.